Hello YouTube, Jim Chapman, American Airgun Hunter, and I am out with one of the most impactful big bores I've seen in a long time. This gun is the AEA Zeus 72 caliber. I've got the 16-inch barrel configuration right here. Everybody knows I like the compact guns, and with a gun this powerful, I'm willing to give up a little bit of power. I've been shooting a few shots already, and you know, I'm shooting starting off the 380 grain, what I'm calling the flying ashtray. It's a hollow point built by Robert Vogel, Mr. Hollow Point. He does thorough testing in all these new guns and sent me a selection of bullets to try out for some upcoming hunts. But anyway, I've shot this gun a couple times already. It's impressed me with the first dozen or so shots I've done. It is accurate. Things hitting hard. I mean, the flying ashtray, 380 grains, and I'm not getting a full charge. My tanks aren't quite full enough, unfortunately. Pretty impressive. Anyway, I'm going to shoot a number, since I don't have a lot of air. I'm not going to do full strings or anything else, but I'm going to I've got 5 different ammunitions. I'm going to set up, I've got a target out at 50 yards. I'm going to set up and shoot each of those and see what it does. I'll get both the velocity, for the one shot anyway, at 3,000 psi. I'll get the velocity, and we'll take a look at the accuracy. So anyway, let's get started. What I will tell you about the gun before I get going: nice Sporter hardwood stock, really nicely shaped. It has a rubber buttstock, absorbs, which isn't bad for a gun like this because there is a bit of a kick. It absorbs any of that rearward push of the gun. Onboard air reservoir, like I say, this is a 16-inch barrel. I've got my FX pocket crony here. I've mounted a Leapers scope on this, a very solid compact scope. Little compact gun, I want a little compact. This is a 3-to-9 variable, fits the gun really well. Trigger is a bit heavy. I may see what I can do if there's any way to lighten it up. It does have a bit of a heavy trigger. Though on a gun like that, that's probably not a bad thing. I don't mind that much. And it's got 11 millimeter rails for mounting the scope. That struck me as a little odd. I would have expected maybe Weaver style mounts, but it seems to be holding up fine. And by the end of this session, where I'll have maybe 40 or 50 shots through it, we'll have a better idea of how it's going to hold up. But it seems to be doing just fine. Scope's holding, it's not slipping back on the mount, so I'm pretty happy with it. The safety is inside the trigger guard, easy to get to without having to come off target. Yeah, really interesting gun. It's threaded barrel to receive a sound suppressor, and on a little 16-inch barrel like this, you could probably go with a decent sized suppressor without running into any problems with overall length. The gun uses a proprietary probe to fill. It's covered by this dust guard, the manometer, the pressure gauges at the distal end. So in that respect, it's kind of a traditional type of PCP hunting rifle. But when you look down that barrel and see the 72 caliber, you know it's a different game. So anyway, let's do some shooting, see how it goes. 50 yards, it like ripped it out of the ground and flung it and put a big dent in the plate, bent the bar, and again, I can't wait to get this gun out hunting. So the first bullet you saw me shooting was the 3-shot group that I did at 50 yards. It was using what I'm calling the flying ashtray. It's a 380 grain hollow point by Bob Vogel, Mr. Hollow Point. All these bullets that I'm shooting are. He's been testing in a full-length rifle. As far as I know, this is the first time one of the shorter barrels has been tested at all, at least on videos that I've seen. So 380 grain flying ashtray, little stubby bullet, but you know, I didn't expect the accuracy to be that great, you know, again, but actually they're accurate. Bob knows what he's doing, and I don't, so I have to take his word. He thought these would be good, and they're doing a great job for me. Second bullet that I shot, not really a bullet, this was a round ball. This was a 580 grain round ball. You know, what I noticed with all these, and we'll talk about it a little afterwards, they're a little bit shifted off the 0 point of the flying ashtray, but that's to be expected. You have to do some minor tweaking as you're changing bullets. So anyway, second 581 grain round ball. Then I moved to a slightly larger bullet. I went to the 630 grain hollow point. We're getting to a bigger slug here, a little bit of a monster. Deep cavity. Again, I'll do close-ups of these, but all these, you know, were about on my first shot, we're about an inch from the 0 point of the 380 flying ashtray. The last one that I tried was the 440 grain. Again, hollow point, gaping hollow point. 440 grain. So there you have it. We had across the board, and we'll go back and look at these. 380, 440. Then we had the 580 grain round ball. I hope it doesn't roll away on me. It wants to. And then the last we had was the 630 grain hollow point. So I'll do some close-ups on these. Again, my problem here is I don't have enough air with me, and I forgot to charge my tanks before I left. I'm about an hour and a half from home, so I can't just run back. And it's going to take me too long to recharge off of my little portable compressor. So I'll have to come back out when I've got full tanks and do some real throw testing. But I want to come back and say something about the gun itself. As I said, the rifle is a sporter design. I get a really good line of sight with this cheek rest. It fits me well. I'm using a medium profile mount. Again, the scope is a compact Leapers scope 3x9, a 30mm tube on it. It's a good setup for this rifle. It kicks a bit. I mean, it kind of lets you know that you're shooting something a bit above and beyond most of the other air guns, but still not too rough. It shoots fairly smoothly for its size, and I think this is going to be a great deer and pig rifle. I can't wait to get out in the field and do some hunting with it. It's loud. Again, the muzzle is threaded. I could come back and put on a suppressor. Maybe I'll do that a little bit later. There's a Weaver styled mount at the forestock of the rifle that I could use for a forward swivel mount, and I will put a sling on this. Although this will probably be a good gun to carry in my backpack scabbard, my Everly Sol, so I'll give that a try as well. The gun was really easy to cock. I like the safety latch on the cocking, and I'll come around and show that. The safety latch on the cocking handle, both for opening and closing it back up. Easy access to the loading port. You push the bullet in when you're seating it, and just give it a little push, and it kind of like pops in. It almost pulls it in that last, and it has a very tactile response. You know, the bullet's seated in there really well, and everything about it. Gun's a real shooter. I'm enjoying it, so I'm going to keep on going until I run out of air, and we'll get back out and do both a full-length test, but also I'll bring it out hunting this year. You're going to see it out there at least a couple times.